Hello, hello, hello. You are in the right place if you're looking at the Visibility Corner with Barbara J. Beckley. Yes, I always get so happy when I have this show because this is one of the, what can I say? You know how you just love what you do, you have a purpose in the world? Well, this is one of my biggest purposes is to make sure that people understand how visibility should work, how visibility should be in your daily process of your business and in your personal life. I always say, don't be the best kept secret out there. You need to make sure that people know who you are. And if you're feeling a little bit uncomfortable saying to yourself, well, I don't know, I don't want to get out there, I feel nervous, I don't feel confident, you're in the right place because this is a spot. This is a Visibility Corner show that I bring on just not myself as an expert, but other experts to come and tell you how, first of all, they started in their business or what they're doing in the world. I always say world changes. And then we're going to ask some questions to them regarding how they use their visibility, or what techniques or tips to get you out there. And it's very important because as me being, I was very, I know some people don't believe this, as I've been doing this for at least 7 years now, I was very shy. I was very shy. You wouldn't even see me on this stage, this virtual stage right now, 7 years ago. But I found out that my purpose and what I want to do in life was much more stronger and important than Barbara being shy. Because what I like to do is my mission is to help individuals understand that they have a voice and that their voice needs to be out there to the world. I don't care who you are, what you do, you are important. And I told myself, I said, okay, if I'm going to say that and shout it to the rooftops, then I have to be the leader in myself to show people that to prove that, right? So if I'm not out there and I'm telling you to be out there, that's kind of unheard of. It's like, okay, Barb, you're telling us to do it, but you're not doing it. So that's why I got on this road for that. And this is where this particular show birthed a Visibility Corner, because I see how important it is to maximize, not just impact, maximize, your expertise, your strategies, whatever you do to the world. So with that, like I said, I'm always going to be bringing on some wonderful guests to talk about. We're having a conversation. Just have a conversation about, within that conversation, we're going to weave in. I always say weave in. I like saying that. Some tips, some strategies, just something to think about. And it just might not be a business it might be a business that you do similar or might not. But the tips and strategies can go for everybody. And that's what I love about bringing on different people, because you can get different ways of how people do it, but then you never know that way that they did it, you might put it into function in your own business and it might help you. So with that, that's why I say get that piece of paper and pen ready, because I know I have mine and I'm ready to rock and roll with my first guest. So I want to say, I just met this person and I feel like I've been knowing him for a while. I like when I meet people that really are on the same level with you and what you do in life. You gel quickly, because you two have something in common. And that's one thing I always tell people is when you find people that have something in common with you, you really, really want to, talk to them, learn from each other, and move on for that point. So this one particular gentleman, and I call the women queens when they come on my show, and I call the men kings. So I'm going to call him King David. I know you're like say, okay, are we getting political here? No. But no, I want to give him that title because he is rocking and rolling when it comes to visibility. He has a heart of passion for small businesses and entrepreneurs, which, you know what? I love that, because a lot of the small businesses don't kind of know what to do when it comes to visibility, or they have some kind of inkling about it, or somebody told them something and then they kind of just ride on that. And I like how David is saying, you know what? I found a way. He's a co-founder and creator of Twiva, the world's first social TV network for small businesses and influencers. He's a digital marketing, I like to say, guru. He's a startup entrepreneur enthusiasm, and he has a lot of enthusiasm. That's what makes you too. It's not just sometimes the technology of visibility, but it's sometimes your personality that helps a lot when it comes to visibility. So that's something else we can talk about too. And he's a man of many talents. So I want to bring him on because we're going to have this conversation because we're going to learn from some experts. And King David, is an expert on this. So we're going to give it one more minute here because we always have to make our sponsors proud of us. And then from that point, I will be bringing on David.
Ooh, I like that. Thank you for those kind words, Barbara. Wow, King David. Oh my goodness. Yeah. That wouldn't run in my house with 4 women in my house. I have 3 girls and 1 lady. And they, whenever we read those references, you're not the king, Dad. You're not the king.
Oh, so I just confirmed it.
Yeah. I'm going to play this show back for them. I'll say, guys, Barbara said. And I also laughed about the part. Wait, so you're the shy person?
Oh, yeah.
You were the shy person? Oh, my word.
David, I was very shy. I would just keep in my little cubicle all day and then go home and then start the whole process all over again. Yeah, I was very shy. Yeah, and now that I burst it out, people said I don't know how to be quiet. But yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I would have never realized that with your personality. And that shows how like you take one little step and then you start learning that new way that you can be. And that's kind of what I'm discovering right now is like, if you just take a little step per day, it changes everything, right? Over time. Yeah.
It really does.
And look, the podcast, you can. Yeah. How long have you been doing this then?
I've been doing like the shows and everything because this is like one of my 5 shows I do, and that's another thing.
Wow.
Probably 5 years now. 5 years.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I could be where you're at one day.
Oh yeah, you're already.
Don't let the set deceive you. No, it's not there.
Well, David, first of all, before we start, Sir King David, I want to just say thank you so much. You're doing me a favor. You're giving me a present today, being on the show. And this is one of my another startup show that I have, really honing in more and more when it comes to visibility and the purpose of it and how, you can be successful with it. So when I read your description of what you do, like we were talking behind the scenes here earlier, that you're just the one. I mean, you're one of the people that I was like, yes, I know he's working with these businesses. He's making sure and making them understand basically what they need, especially in the community aspect of it. Yes. So before we get into your wonderful product and services that you do, and then you give some, wisdom behind the way, I want to just ask, how did you kind of get to this point in your life?
Well, it started with a early childhood in computers, and I was homeschooled at 2nd and a half grade. My mom pulled me out at during Christmas time. It wasn't even the end of the year. And she goes, oh, we're going to homeschool the kids. And so we had 2 or 3 of us and then eventually 4. And so I had started working on computers very, very young. And so I had that love to sit down and just have my brain create things. Like I networked my church when I was 12. Before internet, before email, I had networked them all together and did Microsoft Outlook networks together so they could send each other messages. Why would we do that? We have pen and paper. And I was like, oh, it's cool, And then I did my house, and then you grew from there. But it started at a very young age. You just kind of develop these loves for different technologies and stuff. But it kind of hurt me in the realm of the personality piece, because I wasn't talking to a lot of people where in school you would. So I was homeschooler and computer programmer. So yeah. So that's kind of where it started, but eventually growing and building a network. I got into web design, web development, databases, mobile apps, as technology moved on. And then you do that a few times and you figure, I want to build something big. You build 500 websites, you build 50 apps, and you just start saying, okay, this is getting repetitious. All these other people, they're building one product and they focus all their time and attention on one thing. Can we focus? But then there's risk, then there's risk of, does it work? Does it not work? But anyway, over time, we built out this business. And then last year, as we were just finally developing version 1, my co-founder passed away. One of the co-founders passed away. And he was the networking bubbly guy. You know, he would be, oh, let me let you create the product, and he would say like, let me sell the product. I will make it go viral, and I will send it to all my networks of people. And I was like, okay, great. So again, I would just remove myself from the public, and I would go to work, and I did not, you know, I just let my brain kind of output that information of what we needed to do, how I needed to build it. But I was always thinking about the community aspect of how can I make a product that everybody would like, you know? So anyway, that's kind of short story of how we're here today, from very childhood to exactly where we are today.
Well, David, first of all, thank you for sharing your story. I always love hearing every person that I talk to and have these conversations with how they started, you know, at the beginning, and if it was something that, you know, because it always happens in some kind of way. Either something happens in life that changes you. Like for me, I was bullied when I was younger, so that's where my shyness came in at.
Oh, mm,
But with you, you were already at 12 playing around with the technology and saying we can do this different. See, you already was having that innovation idea and mentality at a young age. So
mhm.
basically, you know, you kind of fell into that. And I love how you did that. And then even that, you know, the other co-founder passed away. I'm sorry for your loss with that. You didn't
Thank you.
say, you know what, I'm just going to do whatever. No, you said, no, I'm going to push and we're going to make this because I got to keep it going. And I love the
Yep.
accent, by the way, what you did.
Yeah, that's he had all these little antidotes, like or not antidotes, analogies, right? And he would say, you know, how's the wife? How's the wife? How's the kids? How's everybody going? And I was like, they're going good. Everything's fine. You know, let's focus on mine. No, I just want to talk to you about this. You know, David, uh, life is like soccer game. I was like, oh, okay. He's like, your wife is goalie, or my wife is goalie, and I am running out. I am like playing center field, and but I run back to my wife every once in a while and I say, are you okay? Okay, I try to keep ball away from you so you can relax. But once in a while, ball may come to you. But I'm running for you every day. I'm running for you. And I was like, that's so sweet. You know, that he would be out there trying to protect his wife all the time, but he just uses these different analogies. And
Different
you know what
analogies.
it is. Yeah, it's with those accents. It makes everything great.
What you said, whatever you say, love the accent just kicks in, right?
Yeah, it does. It does. He was such
Oh.
a big part of everything. So,
Yes,
yeah.
and I could tell he was just full of life, and that's wonderful that you took on and said, you know what, I'm going to keep this going. And just to say, David, I love, you know, what you're doing. Again, I love what you're doing for the businesses, and you just have, I could tell your heart, your soul is in it, and that's what makes things. Just starting with visibility. Sometimes it's not, like I said earlier, it's not just the technology of it; it's just having that love and personality, and people will
Mhm.
just gleam off of that. So I can see why people are probably like, you know, running or seeing what you're doing and loving it. So
Yes.
I want to get into a little bit about the product, Twiva. So
Yes.
tell us a little bit about that because that's exciting. What I
Yeah,
heard.
so this is a product that came from one of these. Well, it came from like a, you know, mastermind. We are all sitting together and talking about things. And this gentleman Mario, he would say, you know, all these people, they're eating in my restaurant, right? The plumber's over here, the electrician's over there, and he's like, but they don't talk to each other. They don't talk, but they have their business cards up in the front, right? They have their business cards up in the front. How do we get them to connect, to talk? And I was like, I don't know. Like, so we talk about things. He's like, how about you put the plumber on my wall? To put the plumber on my wall on the TV. Just take business card, put it on TV. And I was like, well, you can't really put the business card on a TV. I mean, it'd look all pixelated. You know, if you take a picture of an image and then blow it up, he's like, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I tell him, he chicken parm on Thursday mornings at 2 o'clock. He loves it. I was like, okay, well, let's refine this idea that we could bring a community together through the form of this TV and let other people access it, right? So I said, well, we probably want to add some social media for the restaurant. So, like, if a small business, let's say a restaurant is an Italian food restaurant, um, they have maybe 2 or 3 TVs in there. So we created this to be maybe one TV in the business, and they would be able to show their food, the local weather, their social media on the TV, and also like local things for the town. So if you think about where you live, if you live like in a major city, that's one thing. But if you live in an outside city, you don't really have a TV channel for that town, right?
Mm, No.
So how could we create something that is local town based so that maybe the mayor tweets and it shows up on the screen, right? Maybe there's a parade coming into town or the town parade. I've done this where I've missed it a couple times and I would tell the kids like, "Oh, we just missed it." Or we're like 45 minutes or an hour late and we're like seeing the candy on the ground. And I'm like, "Oh," and I'm walking my little girls and I'm like, "Sorry. I wish I had it." And then it's like the fire trucks are leaving. And it made me think, it needs more exposure. What are the little local things happening in town? There's a little cake shop. There's cupcake shop. There's a barber. There's all these little things that they can't be on TV because TV is expensive. If you've ever looked, it's like $3,000 for a commercial. So, I mean, is most businesses struggling, especially with the economy right now? They're not going to do that. So over time, we built out this product. This is the box that goes behind the TV. It kind of looks like an Apple TV box or an Android TV box, right? And then it allows the community to kind of come in and help create content for the TV. So this is a completely different way, though, for a business owner. They're not posting on social media. They're not handing out flyers. Nobody's really done this before. This is TV-based passive advertising, right? Nobody's searching where to get a haircut or best cupcakes in town. But when you're out and about, or maybe you're at the chiropractor's or the doctor's office, what is that up on the TV? Oh, there's a cupcake shop down the street, right? So that's the idea. And we do it so cheap. It's like you put $5 in the account, you get like 100 commercials everywhere. It's just incredibly cheap. All about the community. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So
Yep.
so now I want to ask, because like you said, this is a different type of way, because there's, you hear about all different ways of visibility. I mean, you can, from email marketing to, like you said, social media, to being on a
Yes.
podcast like this. And then now we have Tweeva.
Yes,
So
that's right.
I want to say, because it is different. I mean, the way you're explaining it, what you do, and having the box. Now, when you're talking to, and this is a tip I want to get from you, from what you're doing, is when you're talking to, like, local businesses in the community. How do you explain to them about how this is a strategy for their business and ways that they can get more traffic? Because is this a way that there's a way that they can kind of, I'm trying to see, measure. Is there a measuring device or anything when they have the Tweeva?
Yeah, so the TV is a little bit harder to track that information because we can't get a click, right? So if they're displaying a click and then they click on it, and we can track IP address on their phones. We can track mobile ID advertising numbers. The TV is a little bit different. It's a little bit harder to do, but what we've done is do it through QR codes. So every TV and every location has a very unique QR code. So I can say, "Oh, this was scanned at 8:53 in the morning on this TV in the back of the restaurant or business or, barber shop or coffee shop on this specific TV at this location." And so we can track it. But if somebody doesn't scan that QR code, we can't necessarily track it. But most people would say, "Hey, I saw you on TV somewhere," or "I just know of you from somewhere." And they would walk into the restaurant. And over time, it builds a different kind of credibility. It's more of like a branding, if you think about it.
Okay.
So instead of, doing like a Superman pose, like let's say a plumber, right? We're not doing a Superman pose like, "Call me, I'm the plumber for the city of so-and-so." Why don't we talk about creating better content like this old house? This old house, how many people watch house restoration, home restoration, and people restoration? Why doesn't the plumber shoot with his phone 2 or 3 minutes of him fixing someone's toilet, sink, right? A hose bib outside. "Oh, it cracked off. It's been 10 years. Well, guys, this is how you do it. Now his face, he's talking, right? He could put a little logo or something at the bottom, but this is content, right? This is different because nobody's done it this way, because most of like, "Hey, we have 58 minutes of programming on our television. We have 2 minutes. So you have to say everything you have to say in, well, how much do you want to pay for 15 seconds? Well, I don't think I could get my message out in 15 seconds. Okay, fine. Then it's $5,000 for 30 seconds, right? So Now, okay, well, I've got to condense everything I do down to this little spot. Now, that's TV. We're the opposite, though. So we have, let's say, 3 or 5 minutes for the business, and then we have 55 minutes of content left for the community. So the business might show their food, or let's say if it's a hair cuttery, they're going to show the popular haircuts, some celebrity haircuts, the weather, the local town information, what's going on, where to get a bite to eat. And then they have this big block of time that allows the community to join in. So things like your podcast, your video cast, take clips of it, post it around at where you'd find your potential customers, and QR code, join me. We're talking about so-and-so, right, on the screen. So this gives a completely different view of like that exposure and that visibility. And that's why when I was looking at your whole, business and podcasting, you're like, I like to bring that visibility, the person to the visibility. And I'm like, wow, that is so important.
Yes.
And most people think like, oh, they'll call me if they need me, or they'll search in the yellow pages. I just said that. I said yellow pages. But we know that's not the way, right? It's they find them on Facebook, they find them on Twitter, they find them on here, they find them on there. But that's more direct advertising. This is more passive. So if you think about Rolex, like the bigger brands, Bentley, Rolex, they might show up. I can't say I've searched for like most expensive watch, beautiful watch, but they have that, there's a PGA tour or something, and they would show billboards all around town. That's more passive. So when you think of the watch, you immediately think of the brand.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'd like to do is get the community involved in that. And so my driving point is become a community expert. There's so many people in your town. Like you can't serve 10,000 people. You can't serve 20,000 people. With a podcast, with the information, you can, but you're not building websites for 10,000 people, right? It's crazy. So you can have a lot of community experts in a community. But the problem is that, again, we're trying to break this down to this 10 or 15 second window. Yeah. So can we brand them as when you go out to anywhere public and you're seeing people on the TV, you're seeing the local chiropractor adjust someone's back, right? Not just this, I'm a chiropractor, call me, right? It's more about branding and talking and all these different services, electricians. Just think about it. It's anything that can be done, but it's better content than what's being shown. Well, not always, but I did have this one experience where I was my founder, he was like, David, we're at the point where you must go sell the first 20, 30 boxes on your own. We're at the sales and marketing point. I was like, all right. So I go around and I'm selling the box, talking to people, and I'm going to pizza shops and I'm eating, the pizza, waiting to talk to the manager. And up on the screen, some not Discovery Channel, but some cable channel was this person murdered so-and-so and how bad it was. And then I was like, that's horrible. That's wrong. And then they're like, and then he went out to the desert in Arizona on this particular street where there are no cameras. Then he made a left-hand turn. Then he made a right-hand turn. And he hid the duct tape under his left corner seat. I was like, is this a guide now? What are we doing here? Why are we talking this detailed for a viewer? And then I was like, if my kids were here right now, they're just step by step. This is what he did. Because there was no cell phone reception behind this mountain. Goodness gracious. This is a community pizza place. This guy needs better content. And so, or like turn that channel off, like put on Discovery Channel or something. Like random people are walking in and out. So it makes all these little things always make my mind go like, I could fix that. I could fix this.
And that's why I love the passion that you have. I mean, you could just see it flowing, that you just think of things like somebody can give you a certain content, like you just said, and you're in the back of your mind, like there's a different way you can do this.
There is
that reception of people watching it. So David, I want to just say, because of time, the day, it seemed like it went so fast. We just started. It seemed like.
Is it really?
What? I'm feeling like, no, I got to bring him back. But definitely, man. I'm saying that right now. I need to bring you back.
Yeah,
On the show.
we got other things too to talk about, social media
Yeah,
and all these other tips and tricks that I've learned
I
throughout
know.
time. So I'd love to help people with it.
Yeah, we're gonna
This
have
is
like an
just a
episode
piece.
1, 2, and 3 with David. I'm
Yeah,
telling you,
I
this is
love it. I love
we
it.
have so much. But I want to hone in real quickly, like what you said, and then what I want to do, and I want to make sure that you get the last thought for people. I want to take myself down for like 30 seconds and give you that platform so you can say whatever you want to say to the audience regarding what you do, visibility, what you want to take on it. But one thing I love what you said out of everything is the content.
Mm,
Content, no matter what. I don't care if you're on TV, if you're on social media, if email mark, whatever you want to call it. If your content is not like you just said, David, you
yeah.
really brought that point across, then you're going to lose the audience. You're going to lose who you're trying to reach because that content needs to be there. And I think that's one of the
Yes.
things is very important. But I'm going to take myself down and be quiet for a minute because I want you to give some of your tips, and then I'll come right back.
All right. All right. Well, so what I'm going to say first is stay tuned for the next show because we are going to talk about something with this content piece. We weren't really able to touch content is going vertical on the web. My content or Tweeva or TV based content is going to be going horizontal. So this is a whole nother conversation on how to create horizontal content or silent content. A lot of people don't like TVs that way. So stay tuned for the next. Barbara is amazing. She can figure out the visibility and she can help you. This is a piece kind of where I struggle. This is why I listen to her show. And she's such a great piece of that one that's missing. I mean, I'm the developer on my side. But what I'll say in closing is if you are a small business owner with foot traffic, definitely contact us for the box. Go to get.tweeva.com and we can set you up with a box. They're very cheap. They're under $100. And if you're a small business that doesn't have foot traffic, but you're looking for that other type of exposure, TV exposure, it's incredibly cheap. We're a startup. We're just getting started. So definitely give us a contact at that same location.
Amazing, amazing. And you know what? I like what you start off with before you started giving the tips and how to get to you, is this is just one of the episodes.
Yes.
So
Yes.
you're already getting everybody ready that you will be
There's a
coming
lot
back.
to talk about. Yeah. Your visibility piece is like what I was missing for a very long time. Very, very long time. So it's funny that I'm creating a product to help the problem that I even have the problem with, but
I
sometimes
know.
that's
I
the way
know.
it works.
That's the way it works, David. And I always tell people that, your visibility creates the success in your whole business or just in general. Because like I said earlier, you can't be the hidden, you can't hide. You have the secret, you have something like you said, Tweeba. How about if you wasn't out here talking or speaking about it or putting yourself out there? People wouldn't know what Tweeba is. People wouldn't know how to use that for their business. You'd be really stagnating other people's business because there's a product that you have that would be so awesome for them. And if you weren't talking about it or anything, then they would lose
But
out.
that's
They would
hard though. That's hard to do. It's hard to put yourself out there. It's hard to talk. A lot of people struggle with that.
I was one.
I'm pushing right now. I'm gonna go put on some sunglasses and drink coffee.
But you know what I found out though, and I'm gonna leave it right there because I really want people just to get with the love that you just gave them. But I want to say something about that is because it is hard. It was hard for me.
Yeah.
I felt like I wasn't educated enough. I felt like I wasn't good enough. All that stuff was in me, and because people said it to me, and I started believing in it. But then when the purpose that I had in me was stronger than my not feeling confident, not thinking that I didn't have anything, I said, you know what? I want to learn this. If it's YouTube University, Google University, taking workshops, whatever I had to do, I said, this passion of mine is more stronger than me standing back in the background saying, no, I have to put myself out there. So hopefully that, between what you do and what I do and people that listen to this particular show, that they understand that let their passion come before anything else. Because when you do that, because like what you're doing right now, David, there's no stopping you because you have that passion. There's no stopping.
That's right. Keep going. Keep going. I love it. Well, thanks for having me on the show. This was so much fun. I enjoyed talking with you. And I think we're very, like you said in the very beginning, we have similar personalities of growing and building. And that's awesome.
Yeah, yes, yes. So I just want to tell everybody, audience, again, thank you. Thank you so much, David. Like you heard, there's going to be a few episodes with David. So you'll be seeing him coming back. And we're going to get more into all the other ray of, because there's so much layers and so many different
There
takes
is.
when it comes to visibility. And David, he has the information and the knowledge, and I want to bring him back to give you more of that because, like you said, it's important, especially for the small business and entrepreneurs to understand this because a lot of times you don't know. You don't know what you don't know until somebody knows and gives you that information, and then we can help you with that. So,
That's
as
right.
I always say on the show, that remember, visibility helps you in your success, not only in your business, but in life. And understand that you are important. You have that special gift in you, your uniqueness in you. Out of everything, that's what brings the visibility for the world because you are a world changer. Thank you,
Mm.
David, again. I
Thank you
appreciate you
so
so
much.
much. King
Appreciate you
David.
too. I love it. See you later.